And we are back. Onofre,
Yes,
how's it going, man?
what's going on, man? I got some sun last week, so I'm still
Ooh,
recovering.
so is that good? Oh, so you got burnt, is what
I
happened.
got burnt. I got burnt to a crisp.
Ooh.
I'm still lightening up
Uh,
though. Yep.
at least at least you'll get a little tan from it. Hopefully,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, won't peel so bad.
Oh
But
no.
that's fun. So I know we've got a really awesome episode to get into, but sometimes we do corrections at the top of the episode. This time we don't have corrections, but Chris from bands like The Channeling and Introspect hit me up after listening to our last episode. And he wanted to weigh in on how I mentioned, we got Bobot Adrenaline on that Tony Hawk game, and it was really cool. But I said, I don't even know how that happened. Well, he has something to say about that. So Chris hit me up and he said, so I may have a lead on who was responsible for getting Bobot Adrenaline on the Tony Hawk soundtrack, as it likely was the same guy who got the channeling on the game that came right after, Project 8. It was a good friend of mine who was at the time local to Orange County and was doing digital design for lots of studios. Happened to connect to the guy who decides the soundtracks for the games. My only guess is that since my friend was also very supportive of Introspect and likely had all of the GC Records comps, happened to, start up that conversation. And he says, again, this is my deductive reasoning, as the next year he asked if channeling would be cool if there was a song on that game. And he was like, and I was like, yeah, dude, flack or wave, Um, anyway, so he was like, yeah, when they needed the audio file from us for the game, I was on tour in Texas with Introspect, and over the phone, I had to instruct my technologically averse sister how to export a WAV file in Cubase and then email it to Activision. So really, really funny. Thanks, Chris, for weighing in and letting us know.
Nice.
So connections. For those of you who are in bands or in music, don't forget that. Like, meet the people you meet, just make friends, and you never know. 2 years later,
Yeah.
3 years later, they might be, doing something and need, a favor or need a something. So that was really cool. Thought I'd kick off the episode with that. But
Nice.
today's episode is actually going to be the first 10-inch record that GC Records had on the discography. It's a band from Long Beach, California called X Fork. And the album's Cure for the Disease, called Man. And it's a really interesting story how this came about. We had a really good friend who also ran a record label. Gila, myself, we went to college with this individual, Danny Garcia, shout out. Anyway, so he had a record label, Cool Guy Records. And this was kind of an era where, Gila and I were just about to have our first baby, or maybe we had our first child, and Cool Guy Records was going through some changes, and Danny was kind of thinking of hanging up the hat and just kind of doing other things for a while. But he hit me up. He said, "Hey, man, listen, we got these 10 inches pressed, and the vinyl is in boxes and they're ready to go, but band is broken up, record label is being shelved, but it's very sad that this record does not exist." And I said, all right, well, what about the cover art? And he's like, there is no cover. That just never got that far. So got the singer of Dead Man Walking to take the CD cover that they just made, this little cover, and expand it into what became the cover for the 10-inch. So if you look at your record, on the vinyl where they usually etch the
Oh.
catalog code, Actually, Sean Carswell of Razor Cake Magazine noticed this first. He was like, "Hey, was there a typo? Because it says CG Records." And I was like, "No, the label that actually pressed the vinyl was Cool Guy Records. So it looks like a typo. Looks like it should have been GC Records, but it was actually CG Records. Gave us the vinyl as a gift. Just, hey, if you spend the money to create covers and do a stuffing party, and then at least it's out there and people can listen to it and enjoy it, kind of thing." So we took them on. We said, "Okay, sure, awesome." So we put out the 10-inch, made the covers, and one of the things that we added on top of it was we did a hand numbering of all of the vinyl records.
Yeah.
So anything you want to say about the hand numbering or anything like that before we play this first track?
Well, I got one that says promo on it.
Oh my God, that's insane.
I have one that says promo on it.
That's, what that means? That belonged to someone who, reviewed it for a magazine or something.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
I forget where I got it. Oh, it had to have been in the bin. It was a used copy. And also got number 2. I got the second one ever.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, and I think all of those were Gila's handwriting.
And in the third copy, I got number 100. So
Dude, you got some great ones there. Okay, so you have 3 of them?
I have 3 of them.
Well, one to listen to, one to frame.
Yeah. One of those.
One to put in this vault. So anyway, so what we're going to do is, for the listeners, we're going to start off with the first track of the 10-inch. When you put the needle on side A, this was the song that greeted you. So this is X-Fork and the song Idea Factory.
All right, that was X Fork with Idea Factory.
Yeah.
Great opener. So that was 2003, right?
They recorded it in 2003. We released it January 2004.
2004. Right. But the band had broken up already.
The band had
Right.
broken up. I think they only had, other than this 10-inch, one other official release and then went their separate ways. But yeah, I really love that opener. It's not as complex and heavy as the rest of the album. And so it's kind of like a nice way to ease your way into the pool,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But still showcases how, sludgy the guitars can be and how, almost like metal territory it goes,
Yeah. I think around that time people were, I don't know if it's like the trend was heavy music and just play whatever we can. There's no structure, really. That's what it seemed
totally. Yeah, and there's no structure. Like it almost feels like they're jamming. It's like a jam session, but they're making it sound like that because otherwise, it was all very mathematical.
Yeah, or mathcore, right? They call it mathcore.
Not that I don't know if you would consider, but yeah,
No,
exactly.
yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. And okay, so they did break up, and one little fun fact is the drummer of X Fork, particularly on this record, but I think just drummer of the band, later went on to be the drummer of Toys That Kill.
Oh,
completely different music, completely different style of playing, but it shows you the talent that lives there. And so on some of the records, they call him Jimmy. In fact, they might even call him Jimmy in person, but his name is Mike Felix. And the guy is a beast. He's so good on drums.
Mike Felix. Oh, okay. Wow. That's cool.
Oh. So if you see Jimmy or Jimmy Felix on, it's actually Mike Felix. But drummer for both. So the second and last song I think we're going to play to kind of take us out here is, why not just go with the title, right? So A Cure for the Disease. And that's top of side B?
Yes, that is track 1, side B.
So we did track 1, side A. Let's do track 2, or track 1, side B rather. But real quick question. So you have all multiple numbers.
Yeah.
Does the like the markings of the A side and B side differ on them all?
Oh, no,
here's why.
What?
On some of them, it was a stamp, like a stamper stamp, and on some of them, it was handwritten.
Ah, really? I got a stamp.
Okay. On
this one. Let's see what the other one is. Oh, and it's got the Fullerton address.
It does have the Fullerton address. That's when that was that whole era. That's, Cool Guy Records met him in California.
They're stamps.
Okay, so you got all 3 stamps. Very cool. Very, very
The first
cool.
100 was stamps.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. Yeah, it was like 300 through 400 where we were like, where are those stamps? Okay.
And quick question. Was Mike Felix, did he play drums at the GC 20 year show? Was that him?
Yeah. That was him. That was him on stage.
I got to see him play then.
You got to see it. Yeah, you got to see him like shred.
Yeah.
Not in the not in the X Fork style, but dude, he slays. He's so good.
For sure.
And it just, I just love the fact that he got, in that close with Recess Records, and they did Underground Railroad to Candyland, and they've been doing, all kinds of stuff. So in fact, actually, speaking of which, shameless plug, Toys That Kill just released a new album called Triple Threat, I believe. Go and get it. Amazing.
Nice.
But let's go back in time to this January 2004 release, X Fork, and this is first track on side B, A Cure for the Disease.
That was Cure for the Disease. Track 1, side B, X Fork.
And you know what's interesting? It does seem like they have these trailing outros to the songs, right? Did you get that feeling too? Where it doesn't just kind of, like some bands like da 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 da, you know, and they were just they just like they let things resonate and ring out and kind of like dissipate.
Yeah,
but I love it. Like, what did you love about this record? Owning it 3 times, picking it up every time you see it in a bin.
It felt like just ahead of its time, or like listening to it now, it feels modern, contemporary. Like, you know, this is a sound that people are still playing to this day. Or
it's kind of you know, there are some bands and some genres where you're like, man, that sounds retro, you know, or whatever, or future. This record is timeless, especially when you think of, you know, this kind of you know, hardcore where it's not blast beats, it's not, you know, methodical and like heavy. Yeah, dude, I mean, amazing. You know, I hope the musicians, like the drummer for Toys That Kill, I hope they're still making music.
Oh yeah, I hope so too.
Phenomenal musicians.
Very solid musicianship.
You know, very stoked that the record exists because Danny, you know, said, hey, here's an offer. We've already paid for the vinyl. Can you put it out, kind of thing? And you know,
and that it was just gonna sit on a shelf if you didn't take it. Like, it was just, no one was ever going to hear this.
Yeah, it was going to sit in a storage unit or something, you know. Wow. And so what I would like to implore to the listeners, I know a lot of our Record Revolutions listeners listen to a whole gamut of music. Some of it sounds, you know, it's like a Venn diagram for X Fork, and some people are like, I don't know if I like that. It's a little too heavy for me. But if that is something you enjoy, if you collect vinyl, this cherry red 10-inch, we have less than 50 left.
Oh,
so for those of you who don't own 3 or 2 or 1 of these, there's less than 50 left. You know, $8, get it. please, it's amazing. It deserves to live in your house with your record player.
Yes.
Other than that, yeah, Onofre, thank you again for
Thank you for having
joining
me.
up for another one of these episodes. Next episode will
Ooh.
be the 7-inch record we released July of 2004, The Four Deadly Questions. And this was Four Deadly Questions. They, again, another Recess Records Toys That Kill connection.
Nice.
Really good friends with Todd from Recess Records, and they'd worked with a bunch of people, and we had just done the 4-letter word stuff, the lipstick pickup stuff, and so all of these people are meeting each other, touring with each other, and so Four Deadly Questions were based out of Brooklyn, and so when these bands would go through, they met them and met friends, and through buying their records at the show, found out about GC Records, and they reached out to us and were like, hey, we got these 4 songs, like, and Matt Braun, who's the singer and like mastermind behind everything, he was like, dude, I'm a designer, like I'll do the whole thing. I'll design the labels, I'll design the cover, like let's just do it. And I was like, dude, awesome. So we pressed it on white vinyl, July 2004. So that's next episode, the Four Deadly Questions EP. And yeah, we'll see you guys then. See you, Onofre.
Yeah. Yes, child. Peace.